So I'm going to show you 3 ways to cut a carrot in 5 minutes. Okay, that's 5 minutes. So the first way I'm going to show you is a roll cut. So you start at the bottom and you want to make an angled cut. And then you turn it so that you can see the face. And you keep going so you're cutting against the face. You just make a cut and you turn it and you make another cut. And throughout this, you want to make sure that your fingers are tucked so that you don't cut your hand. So you turn and you're cutting against the face again. And you turn and you can see the face and you're cutting against it. So depending on what you want to use this for, this is great for soups. You could put this in a salad, but it's a little bit rough. It's really good in a stew or some type of soup. And you just keep twisting. It gives you like a great angle. So even if you wanted to like steam this or saute this, it's a good presentation carrot. So keep going. And it gets a little bit thicker at the end, as you can imagine, because you're going up on the carrot. It doesn't totally have to be perfect as long as you're just getting an interesting angle. And then you get to the end, you can just put that on the side. So there is your roll cut carrot. You can see you have some nice angles there. If you want to peel it before you cut it, then you don't have the skin, but it's just as nutritious with and without the skin. The next cut I'll show you is a dice, which is a typical carrot cut that you could make a soup with. So you cut off the ends. And then I usually cut it in half just so it doesn't make the initial cut difficult. So you have 2 halves and you cut this one directly in half, put the 2 faces down, and you cut this in half, put the 2 faces down. And then you can either cut it again in half if it's a thick carrot, so I'll show you for these 2. And then you're just cutting it in about, it could be a 1/2 inch to 1 inch pieces. So you have sort of an angled square-ish piece. So then you're cutting these again. About 1 inch would be there. I think that's a little bit large, so I do a 1/2 inch. And then these we'll just cut without cutting them in half lengthwise again. So you get about like that. And then you have a nice sort of little hut-shaped carrot. And then finally, this one's the most difficult. This is a matchstick. So you want to do a really angled cut to start and continue cutting the carrot on that angle and try to keep it as thin as possible. Again, tucking your fingers. So you should get toward the top and you have these nice long angled pieces. That's a little bit close. Let's see. There we go. When I get to the end, sometimes I leave the side and just cut it up and do something else with it so that I don't hurt myself. And then you can stack these in about stacks of 2. And you just cut them down lengthwise. So this is great for a salad. You can just throw it in and make a salad like a little bit healthier and add some color to it. The carrot's so bright and beautiful. That's about 2. I'll usually put the thinner, smaller piece on the top just so I'm not cutting on an unbalanced surface. You want to roll your knife down from the top to the bottom. And then just finish it up. However thin it is depends on what you like and what you want. If you want a thicker cut or a thinner cut, And this is the final piece. This will be a little bit harder to cut, so I would do it in two because that's round.
That's a costume in itself.
And finally this piece.
Kind of class.
So in 5 minutes you have 3 different carrot cuts that you can use for different purposes, entertaining or just making a great dinner for yourself.